Almost got
feel
it right.
like, yeah, that was awesome. I almost feel like I could um, do a better job if I were to remake that video today. my my drawing skills have gotten much better.
How about your animating skills?
Um, not much better.
Not much better. So we still have to use the flip book, huh?
Yep.
I think it's fine, but if you
I
think
still
you
like
can
it a lot.
update it, then that would be fine too. That would be funny if it was
Worse.
like no. You upgraded it to like claymation, like a total like just like totally different. Like a real upgrade. It would just be
Yeah.
crazy. Because you go from like just kind of like sketches, whatever, like storyboarding or something, and then it would be this like super fancy claymation. Let's see if we can get Seth Green since we covered all about we helped him get his board
Yeah, there
eight
you go.
back.
We totally did.
Behind the scenes, we forgot to tell everyone. Oh yeah, good morning everyone.
Good
Um,
morning, everyone.
Good morning, Darcy. We kind of just started
Good morning,
without
Jeff.
our good mornings,
Sorry, that was my fault. I just started talking.
but it was awesome. So, yeah, we forgot to tell everybody, or we just failed to mention how much of an integral part we had to getting that board eight back.
Yep. Yep. We talked about it like 3 times.
I think you handled a lot of the negotiations, right?
Yep.
And then
With
um, I did like some mock-up artwork, like as a back, like to give to the guy. I was like, hey, how about you? I'll trade you this. You give Seth Green back his board ape, and I'll give you one of my personally drawn autographed pictures.
yep. The board bear.
The board bear. Yes, the board bear. There you go. That's awesome. The board bear. Is it just a real life picture of me?
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Whenever I have to talk to you with the face I get.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I think
I
that's the
tell my
best part
grandma,
of
she gives, huh? What was that?
I was gonna say that's probably the best part of us living so far apart is, I mean, I can hear the face, but I don't have to see it, so I could just keep pretending.
Yeah, my grandma gives me this face. That's where I've learned it from.
Nice. She's taught you well.
Yep, yep. Whenever it's something that you don't like, you get the face. It's like, wait, I was waiting for her to say something.
Oh.
Because she said, well, I didn't make the face or something recently. It was funny. Uh, so, all right. And I guess she's not communicating, just listening. She just see that makes me believe that she had that fake good morning already set up, like just some kind of chat bot ready to go. She's
Yep.
not even there.
That's
Actually, I saw her, so I know she's there. So the coin market cap, where was it at last? Oh, I forget where we had it in 2 weeks ago. I know it was lower than this for sure.
Yeah, do you want me
Um,
to see if I can
yeah, see
find
if
it?
you can see really quick in our video. I mean, we can always click on it and just go.
Hmm.
Um, I don't like this chart. This chart isn't the best. It just doesn't move well. So while she's looking that up, we will. Okay, so it's. Which way do we want to do this? I like when it's a trillion. So we'll do 0.96. We haven't quite made it over our trillion mark yet. I would say that would be a good day when we get back up over our trillion. Right now, it looks like Bitcoin is, for the last week, holding strong around 21,000. Ethereum, I mean, they have a little bit of gains, but I'll just call it pretty much steady. Steady. Yeah, we're pretty much staying steady. Oh, Solana had a nice big dump. Um, everybody else used to be dumping, but Dogecoin in the last week has had a pretty big jump. So we'll have to check in on them to see what's going on there. When you have the trend of, I don't know, we'll call it 5 to 10%, because when your alternative coins, which are non Bitcoin coins, so altcoins, whenever they go down, they usually go down harder than Bitcoin, and when they come back up, they usually come up faster than Bitcoin. So seeing the 5% here versus the 10% is pretty much, I would say you're somewhere in a 10 to 12% gains. So then when you come down and see a 30%, then you'd want to know kind of what's going on. It shows that I think this was as low as 5 cents. That was a really low amount. But if you look, you got Dogecoin and Shibu, which are both of the meme coins that are in the top rankings. So they have a lot of people, hopium. Yeah, I've heard that word before. Hopium. They got a lot of hopium going on, where people want to get their money back.
That's amazing. I
Hop-
love that.
Opium.
Yep. It took me a minute. I like it a lot though. 8.6 last week.
8.6.
A
So
week and a half ago.
we'll say 0.86, right? So I know, because if I switch that decimal
See what you're
point back to a trillion, because I want to do 1 point whatever when we get back to a trillion, so
Yep.
we're gonna have to do it this way. So 0.86, we're up $100 billion. That works. I'll take that. Somebody stole 100 million from Harmony, so we'll look at that too. But back to our Dogecoin, I wouldn't look at that as anything significant. It just falls in line with the others. But this one's a little bit interesting. It's extra 6% up. Shibu, wow, Shibu's really on a run. 40%. I swear I just looked at that 2 seconds ago. It was lower.
Grandma says she likes polka dot.
I know. We'll talk about Polkadot. Where is our Polkadot? Polkadot's still holding strong at 11. So it's ranked 11. Hasn't fallen apart. I think, Grandma, when we got some, it was around 20. Not looking so good. Maybe 18. We'll have to go back and check that one. Huh?
Is that hopium too? She's like, wait.
No, this has been hers. This has been hers all along. She picked this before she even knew about it. I think she picked it because she liked the
Aw.
name. And it ended up being a really good project. And so the loss that we've sustained on it isn't outside of the realm of the others, dropping. So
Yeah, that name reminds me of isn't in the second Suicide Squad, isn't there one of the superheroes? Was that his name, Polka Dot? I just remember he had,
it
like, a
was.
polka dot.
It was. He didn't do so well because he had a little bit more of a main role, right?
Yeah.
He was the off character, but was a main character, right?
Yeah, he was.
Because he didn't know
real
how to
weird,
control
but
it, and then
still really liked it.
yeah, I like that. Actually, I like that actor. So I remember that. Yeah,
He's in a lot of stuff.
he is. He is. That's why I like him because he's not like a huge name, but he's usually like a villainous type person, like a slight villain. So
Yeah, he's got the right face for it.
yeah. So Polkadot, that was Graham's. So let's see what else we got. Oh, look at this. Wow. What do we got going on down here? We got Polygon, which is one of my personal favorites, at a 50% jump. Wow, missed that. Uniswap, I'm mixed on them. And then my other favorite, which we got to keep coming down to, VeChain, and we will be talking about them today. Oh, and then a couple others, Sandbox and Decentraland. We need to talk about those too. Dang it, I didn't bring that up. Maybe I did. It might be in here. Cool. So that's it. ApeCoin, I don't want to talk about.
All right, then we don't have to.
Yeah, it's part of the ape, the Bored Ape stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not ready for that one yet. I do like ICP. I do like Helium. I like ICP, the band, just not like them, but I used to like them, so they still have
You
it.
said the band?
I guess I don't know the group. I mean, they're not really a band, but I think there's instruments on stage.
You said it so quickly that I wasn't sure that I heard you correctly.
Yeah, the group, the musical artist
awesome.
group. Yeah, I think if anybody follows them, I think Violent J is having health problems right now. But I followed them after they became what they were, and it's really interesting listening to them talk
What are
about
their
what they do. And
bands called?
the
Or,
Juggalos.
oh yeah, yeah. I knew it was something. It was like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Juggalos with the little hatchet clown guy and stuff.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know a
they're
lot of
interesting.
juggalos. I'm not a fan, but I do know I have a lot of friends that are juggalos. Well, I don't have a lot of friends, so
The
that's
friends you do have might have been Juggalos at one time.
just sound like I know a lot of people. I don't. I know juggalos and I know Jeff. Who
You know
else?
Juggalos and Jeff? Wow, that's a horrible group of people to know between Jeff and the Juggalos. Wow,
Well,
is that like my. That's funny. Jeff and the Juggalos. That's a new band, new group.
yeah. Well, I'm only one eggplant. What do you want?
Oh, it's so hot in my room. Hold on. I don't know if I got the other thing turned off. Just kicking heat up here. Helium's really interesting, so I think that's about it. Let's see if there's anybody below helium. Graph's interesting. Yeah, cool. So, let's cover our topic that we were going to talk about today. And starting my research, well, I started looking into it, but I guess I didn't read the big bold type at the top of the walkthrough page that said the Azure blockchain's been discontinued since what is this, 22? So a year now. I was
Aw.
like, huh. Well, that let's see if we can find that. Microsoft. My fingers aren't working today. They never work. See, that's a common complaint.
Yeah. Well, it's early and it's Monday. We're mixing things up. We're really throwing you for a loop today. That was an old person thing to say. Sorry. Been doing that a lot lately.
Oh, you are old.
I know. I
Yeah,
feel
right
like
here.
these are things that I always say, but
So this big important thing right here, I missed like
the thing
two
that we
months
always
ago.
skip.
Yeah, you don't know how many times I skipped this. Like this big important thing, and it's always turning it off. It's always like, this is no longer going to be in service. So Microsoft, I thought the actual date was a year, like in April of this, because I read a bunch of articles and walkthroughs about what we do instead, and it's okay. It's not a big deal that they're shutting it down, but yeah, they shut it down on me. So I can't really do a walkthrough example of something that's not going to be useful after October 31st. Oh, that's when it ends. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is when it
So if you
ends.
want to just use it for the next couple months and never again,
Hmm.
we could do a walkthrough.
Yeah, if our audience really feels like wanting to see this, I guess I can go through it, but I think it'd be a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
why? Why are they shutting this down?
Yeah, let's find out.
I'm asking the audience of our one person that I'm sure is keeping
It is.
track of the Microsoft ecosystem. So,
Everybody's curious. It's not me.
yeah,
I'm not the one.
no, it's grandma. So,
Yeah.
they are suggesting you go to Quorum Blockchain Service. We might glance at that, but I didn't really dig into it. So, why are they shutting this down? Well, they have other alternatives that actually, I got kind of like hiccup burps. Um, they actually serve most of the purpose of what you would need. So it's kind of interesting. Do you need to really code smart contracts? That's like one of the things that is interesting. If you take one of the alternatives, because you don't need to mess with that. And then, what are we really trying to do with a blockchain? We're trying to have a data structure that can't be changed, right?
Hmm.
Deleted, modified in any way. And so you would really just need a SQL table that would have those properties with some API endpoints. Now, we're not talking about where smart contracts apply logic when you put that data in, or check things, or do other things to make sure that you're adhering to the rules of the blockchain, because this is not a blockchain of what I'm talking about. It's just a table with information in it. But it's encrypted. So Microsoft is offering, where did I click? Where did the other one go? What was that? What was I on just a second ago?
Maybe the last.
Oh, the last tab. Thanks.
tab?
Yeah, it was out of order. When I don't have them in order, I get messed up real fast. It's like, that's one of the things I've learned from our web stream. Make sure your stuff's in order so you can just go down the line and not have to think about what you're clicking. And so that one really messed me. I'm like, wait, where'd that tab? Because sometimes I click on the X on accident, so at least I know that I closed something. But I was like, I didn't close anything. Nothing disappeared. What's going on? So yeah, they quietly announced that they're dropping it, and the announcement was barely noticed, which is because they didn't want to I don't think they want to draw attention to people, like big companies not investing in blockchain, because maybe that would have some negative effect. I don't know. But IBM also shuttered theirs, or has scaled it back. And I think a lot of the Microsoft, IBM, some of the big players jumped in to explore to see how easy it would be to monetize these systems, right? And then when other companies that might be just dedicated to these services are doing a great job, then I think Microsoft and IBM have seen this, and they're just going to leverage other companies' blockchains, because it's really complicated when you get into enterprise, due to the fact that I think a lot of companies don't want to share their information, don't want to have what may be the best information to put on blockchains out there for other companies. I think there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. I was talking to a former colleague of mine, and I didn't realize how much companies don't really have the inventory and the supplies that they say they do to other companies, because they are running so thin on what they're creating, making. They don't have stockpiles of stuff ready to go. So having that publicly known may negatively impact other companies' choices of using them, because they would see it as a risk. They wouldn't be able to get their products as they would hope, right? We see this in real life, where you go to buy something like large scale, not like just buying it off the shelf where you can pick it up, but you want to go order something and it's sold out or not available, or you order it and then a few hours later you get an email saying we don't have this. And I always am like, why in the world do you say that you have it and then you send me an email later saying you don't? It's kind of annoying. And I know the systems that are in the background should be keeping track of this inventory pretty closely. And so we build them all the time. And so it's usually a little bit of that, trying to get the sale and then trying to hold on to your customer, and trying to finagle the resources in the background. So that's why I think, and I'm probably not explaining this the best, but it leads me to believe that's why it's going to be a slow adoption for enterprises on blockchain. And I think the first companies that do it publicly and do it well are going to force the other ones to do it. But being those leaders is going to be tough, because you not only have to get yourselves information, your own information out there, you might have to also have your suppliers, a few people in the whole grouping information out there. And that's a public blockchain. Now you could have private ones, but then private ones are almost back to just centralized databases, right? because
Yeah.
you have a company or a group of companies control it. Everybody's fighting for what their interests are and what information's in it and how it's going to operate. So then it's almost like you're just building your own APIs and your own mini databases at that point. So that's where it's
Yeah,
complicated.
I
Go ahead.
think if it was public though, you'd end up fixing that problem.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I
absolutely.
because it does make sense. I mean, these companies have to pay for storage, so they're going to have the bare minimum and be like, okay, well, we can make these, widgets, in this amount of time. And then it's not until they find out whether they can get their supplies or not that they find out, like, well, maybe we overestimated, our quote unquote inventory.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's like, well, yeah, if you could get the supplies before based on, you know, the blockchain or having the ability to see what your supplier has in stock, and then you could really speed things up and limit your stock,
Yeah.
your on hand. And it's been a while since my accounting classes, so I can't remember what they call it. But yeah, your on hand supplies and your finished widgets and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You would actually be able to accomplish what they're trying to do without the problems. I mean, it would be the easiest. It's so funny. It's what is the saying? You can't see the forest beyond the trees or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly that. Like until you go all in on it, you don't gain the benefits of it. So
Yeah.
being scared of going all in, you're never going to be able to reap the benefits of it. I mean, I don't think the forest trees analogy really works, but it does kind of. It's just kind of like it's tricky. And so I think that has caused some of our large enterprise software companies to scale back due to the fact that immediate money's not there, right? I think this is going to be, I've heard also, so this isn't just me thinking it, that it's going to be a 5 to 10 year adoption. It's going to be a slow crawl for enterprise to get on blockchain. There's a few, we've talked about it, Walmart Canada, and stuff like that. Some
Well,
of your
Walmart
larger
just in general is pretty good about their,
supply chain.
knowing. Yeah. Well, it's my understanding, probably mostly from documentaries, right? um, and also just again like accounting classes, which it's been a while, but they expect a lot from their suppliers. So it's my understanding that as you're checking out, they're sending in that they need, this amount of stock. It's, you know, they're they're keeping things updated, and it's if you want to sell your goods at Walmart, you need to be able to supply and at a specific price or you're out. Like, so a lot of those companies are willing to do those things because they, you know, Walmarts are everywhere. So
It's interesting because that is true. Somebody that would have that type of power could force people on the blockchain, their
yeah,
suppliers,
yeah,
their whole supply chain, really,
yeah,
distribution network, everything.
yeah. It's
So,
my understanding. Like, not to say anything good or bad about Walmart. It's
no,
my
no, I think
understanding
you're
that
exactly accurate. I
yeah,
think that's
like they're
exactly it.
yeah, they're pretty ruthless. It's like it's either this way or no way.
Well, it's the same
Like,
for Amazon sellers, right?
yep, yeah,
Like Amazon is not nice to its sellers. Like I think that's a known thing.
yeah.
They
And I
don't
don't
treat
think
them
they're
the
shy about
best.
that
They
either.
require certain inventory levels at their warehouse. It's like a whole. There's like a whole bunch of requirements if you want to play with that, that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be part of the Amazon reseller group, you got to play by their rules. And I think that's the same for Amazon or Walmart. When you get
Walmart.
big enough and you have enough power, which is a good and bad thing, right? It depends if you abuse that power, which I think, maybe both companies we're talking about have been at times known for that. And I mean, Microsoft's guilty of that back in the day, and still probably currently buying up small companies, pushing them out, forcing them into installing their operating system on their computers, to sell them, all these types of things. And so that will probably be part of the catalyst, the push to get smaller companies on the blockchain. And then once you have enough of it, then it's just everybody will do it because everybody has to. Because then you're going to start interacting with these other suppliers that had to interact with Walmart that now are on the blockchain or doing some sort of open ledger type system. And now you got to participate in that because they're finding that there's huge benefits to it. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll do it too.
Yep. Or we
if you're going to make us. or
supply these people anymore.
Yep, exactly. So that's what I think's going on. So let's see what this article has to say about it. That was Jeff and Darcy's 2 cents on the whole thing. Like, yep. We don't know. We don't know.
We're not experts at all.
No, we're not. We're just pretending to be experts.
We're just having, this is just our conversation trying to figure it out.
So blockchain, what does the folding of these units tell us about enterprise? We'll talk about this for 5 minutes and we'll take a break. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I want to get past the Azure things and then we'll be go over to other stuff. So
okay.
I was only wanting to do half the show on Microsoft since they collapsed my blockchain thing. Actually, we could still do the other thing. I started setting it up, but blockchain as a service is not an area where enterprises need the most help. BaaS addresses the easiest part of the blockchain: implementation, provisioning, operating nodes, and related basic services. Instead, enterprises need help aligning their use cases and business ecosystems with blockchain distributed ledger technology. Most users are not clear on why they need technology. Well, they should have just listened to our last 15-minute rant. It's like right there, it tells you why you should do it.
We should take a little snippet out and why businesses should be using the blockchain. They'll be like, what are these people even talking about?
Wow. Dude, I was just thinking of you get some little person, because we're little people that listen to our show, and they're like, they go in front of their boss and they're like, wow, this bear and eggplant nailed it. Sir boss or madam boss, here is this is the reason we need to go to blockchain. And they just play the 15-minute thing. I could see that happening. Yeah. And then I could see that poor little person getting fired. Yes, that's exactly where I was going. They're like, why are you watching this trash? And so I was trying to come up with something nice, and trash is the best.
They're clearly pretending to figure out.
Clearly pretending. No, but that is why we really did just explain, because all the smoke and mirrors, all the stuff that companies have to do to pretend to get business, you wouldn't have to do anymore. You could just do your work. You could just do it. And then I was thinking, and that's part of this, once you align to common blockchain systems, and you have it all built out, you're not going to have to change it as much. Because we're talking about legacy financial systems that are getting converted over. They haven't changed since they were built to begin with. And so now once you get everybody over to a more modern, same type of system, you're gonna have them not moving off of it again for a very long time. So it'll be interesting to build those blocks. The value of a permission blockchain is hard to understand since it does not implement the most revolutionary aspect of public blockchains, i.e. trust minimization and elimination of a central authority achieved via decentralized consensus. Too many cooks in the kitchen translates into competing priorities and budgets. That's why the private ones aren't the best, but in the case of Walmart, they just dictated, so it kind of changes. You wouldn't have competing priorities, the budget's whatever Walmart says you got to spend on it. So, they fixed that problem. But in fact, enterprise blockchain ledgers are barely distributed and typically run on less than a handful of nodes, usually managed by a vendor and or sponsoring organization, which would be, in our case, the Walmart example. What's the point of using a distributed ledger technology when it's not even distributed, right?
Yep.
Still, there is real business value in enterprise blockchain so long all participants agree to terms of participation. In 2020, they showed about 14% of projects made it into production, but even then, the transaction volume is limited. Hard to use technology is not the reason most projects don't make it into production. Instead, business processes, governance issues, and misaligned use cases are the problem. We identified in what?
I said that feels correct.
Yeah, I mean that's like what normal programming there. We identified and documented several innovative enterprise use cases that leverage unique to blockchain technology components, immutable shared systems of records, and automated contracts. These projects include clinical pharmaceutical trials, authenticated provenance for data and assets, and asset tracking for food supplies or shipments. But even these promising use cases are still in early stages. That's why it's important to learn about it now. Mainly because of process and governance issues and not because of the technology. That's why learning about it now, you can more intelligently talk about processes and governance issues. Mm-hmm. Project participants are often stuck in those in those areas, and access to BaaS infrastructure services is the least of their concerns. Hence why Microsoft dumped something that is just really not needed. Yep. Future of enterprise permission blockchain, several blockchain services. Yeah, there's other ones. Companies simply do not want to give up control. I'm just reading this big, giant, bold thing. If anything, they want to use...
Usurp.
What is it?
Usurp.
What is this word?
I don't know. Let me look.
If anything, they want to usurp more of it. They want more control.
Take a position of power or importance, illegally or by force.
Wow, that's okay.
That's a big word.
Yeah,
I mean,
it carries a lot with it. Yeah, usurp. Huh. And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. They don't want to give up control of their information, which then is going to actually lead to their downfall once smaller companies probably do. Because they probably are like, we got nothing to lose. Let's do it. Except for the cost of building it out. They can't afford that. The simple answer is to recognize the fact central authority is here to stay in the enterprise. But that doesn't mean centralized organizations cannot embrace decentralized applications wrapped by their centralized services. So centralized, decentralized applications, which is CDFI, and CDX, which is extending to many other areas. So, and who are they building up to? One of my favorite projects. We'll just scroll down because it's break time. Chainlink. Woo woo.
Chainlink.
Oh yeah, because Chainlink, use blockchain. They're a blockchain abstraction middleware, protocols and systems. Basically, they read all the different blockchains and aggregate the data. So we will definitely dive more into Chainlink. Yep, it is. It is, and where does Chainlink currently sit? Right there. 22. So, still a real project. It hasn't died.
No. Good.
All right. Break time.
Coffee time. Yep.
And then we still didn't get past our, what do they offer now? They offer Azure Confidential Ledger and Azure SQL Database Ledger. We're going to spend a few minutes talking about them. And then hopefully we get onto the other stuff. Cool. 5 minutes.
Wait.
This won't be a quick one. It'll be full 5 minutes.
Okay.
I gotta go downstairs. I might have to make a little bit of coffee or something. Hello.
Hey, I
Hey,
found a couple jokes I was gonna do.
were you telling jokes with the music?
No,
Oh.
no, I was just reading through some horrible jokes. And I say they're horrible because I only understood a couple of them. But,
All right, we ready?
yep, I'm ready.
All right. So, Azure SQL Database Ledger. It's a mouthful.
Actually, can you make this one bigger? This is a tiny one to read.
You're gonna read this tiny print. This is not very nice on the
On the
screen.
papers? No.
Yeah, it's so bright. I wish I could make it dark mode. So this Azure SQL Database Ledger, this model is completely decentralized. Wait, hold on. Under the covers, blockchains. I was gonna say, how does that relate to Azure SQL? Yeah. Historically, we have no way to know whether the current state of the records in the database is legitimate. That is, we cannot conclusively prove that there wasn't tampering that was removed from the logs. There's no way to natively ensure that an administrator or someone with physical access did not alter the data used in a distributed ledger to record the changes help solve the problem. Under the covers, Azure SQL will create an SHA-256 hash of both the data in the current transaction and a hash of the previous transaction. This hashed record will be added to the ledger. The history of each of these changes are also stored in the database. This is not very different from traditional tracking tables, other than the fact that details are committed to the ledger. Because any tampering with the data would cause a disagreement with the ledger, it's possible to compare two sets of data to ensure that no tampering has occurred. When a verification is requested, the process can recompute all the hashes for the stored changes in the database, comparing each record in the ledger. This allows the system to quickly identify inconsistencies in the data. There is more to the actual implementation, but hopefully this gives you an understanding of the basic principles. Any questions?
No?
In short, the system allows us to cryptographically prove that an administrator has not tampered with the data being stored in the database. This also allows us to review the history of changes that led to the current state. The implementation is built on Microsoft research project called Confidential Consortium Framework. The framework powers the Azure Confidential Ledger Service. This system stores an immutable, tamper-protected, append-only ledgers, ensuring that sensitive data records can be securely stored and protected. Even at lower level, this system relies on Azure Confidential Computing to provide hardware-based trusted data processing. The short version ensures the system itself cannot compromise the data, and Microsoft has a lot of writing about that. Brings us back to the
handy with audits.
That brings us back to the question: when would you use this technology? It comes down to security. Are you storing data which, if modified, could violate the legal compliance requirements? For example, the history of medicines distributed to patients from a prescription.
Ooh.
Access or modification of medical records. Maintenance history of military aircraft. I did a project about that one time. Financial transaction data stored by a bank. Records of access to secure systems and transfers of title or ownership. In each of these cases, a modified or deleted record could indicate a criminal activity, which could subject the owner of the data to fines and penalties. By being able to prove the data is accurate and complete, these operations can be protected from an auditing perspective. It also makes it easy for a third party to quickly verify the integrity and completeness of data. It's worth knowing that once this feature is enabled, the ledger database cannot be disabled, and the data in the ledger tables cannot be modified or deleted. In addition, non-ledger tables cannot be converted into ledger tables. It has to start from the beginning. All of those operations would enable a way to blah, blah, blah. Cool.
Very cool.
And then this goes on to the confidential ledger. So you can have it as a whole database, Azure SQL database ledger. So then inside of your database, you can create a table, or you can just use it without the SQL part of it. So Azure Confidential Ledger runs on similar principles to the Azure SQL Ledger databases. Gives us the same level of trust, integrity without the need for a managed SQL database or a dedicated SQL server. Entries can be quickly added to the ledger as and when they occur, with receipts for each transaction to validate each entry. Entries can also be read from the ledger, so a full history can be established without the ability of any party to tamper with the historical content. Entries can vary from short and simple to verbose and or unstructured data formats. This provides great flexibility of what can be logged in the ledger. Data formats can be changed or adapted over time, and entries don't have to conform to a single standard from a point of creation. So confidential ledgers can evolve with the problem space it has been implemented in, while remaining a history of data. Using Azure Confidential Ledger is one way to support secure multi-party machine learning. For more information about attestability for the masses or to add comments, the blog post is available, blah, 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 blah.
That last part was my favorite.
So, any questions?
No.
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Lowe's launches 3D assets for building the metaverse. It's only natural that metaverse creators may want to share the look and feel of their homes with others. Lowe's is hoping to make this a little easier by extending its existing product line into the metaverse with the recent launch of Lowe's Open Builder. The portal currently provides 500 3D assets representing products stocked by Lowe's for unrestricted reuse across the metaverse. It's the first home improvement company to open up its product library to metaverse builders, but it's not likely to be the last. Both IKEA and Home Depot are busy on their own design projects.
I love this. That is hilarious and amazing. You could get like a little riding lawnmower so you can mow your meta grass.
Your meta grass. That would be the most frustrating thing for me. I would definitely set the setting to turn the auto grow of my grass off. I would not find. I could see grandma out there mowing her grass, just because like the metaverse neighborhoods, she's gotta make it look nice. You know, then you would have me next door to grandma, and she'd be like, "Oh, I hate that neighbor. I hate that neighbor." But she wouldn't have to hate me because my stuff would never change.
Yep. Yeah, just do a like a rock garden.
A rock garden. Well, you could change it. That would be the best. You could just change it real quick.
Or just from grandma's view, it looks nice and neat and like.
Oh, that would be the best. Yes.
A neighbor or a neighbor you don't like, then your grass, it's all weeds and like super tall. Your house is falling apart.
So you have different looks to different people. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
I had to look at this eyesore and everyone else is like, what are you even talking about?
So let's see. Where we feel it's a natural extension. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Where's it at? Building 3D workflows. Lowe's has been working on 3D technology for 18 months. Something as funny as we are talking and joking around about this, you have to read between the lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Lowe's And they mention IKEA and Home Depot building 3D design projects for the metaverse. I want that to sink into our big audience or anybody that might happen to listen to this. We have giant companies investing lots of money into building into a pretend thing.
Yeah.
So that gives me a strong indication that the metaverse isn't something that people should just kind of dismiss. And we will see that here coming up in a second. So I think we're going to go past 7. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to cover some of these. Because I don't want to fall behind on... It's really cool when we're talking about stuff before other people. So I want to get it all out real quick.
I just have to be done at 8.
Oh, yeah, we'll be done way before that. So they're building a 3D workflow. I wanted to know what metaverse they're trying to build it in. And it might be generic across all of them.
That would be really cool.
It might be just their open builder, and then you might have access to the 3D assets, and then you could use those in any metaverse in theory. And then you could always try out, see, the advantage for them is you get to try out the stuff in your house, and then you might want it in real life. That's like, once they'd have this built, adding extra things into it would be nothing. And
yeah, it's awesome. Here, I need to go get a barking dog. 1 second. Sorry, guys.
all right, so I'm going to look up the sandbox right now real quick because
A garbage can fell over and was rolling around. She couldn't take it.
all right, here we go. This is why it's important to know where they're building it and what they're building it for. So here we go. Sandbox, which is the other major metaverse. You have Decentraland, you have the Sandbox. You have Sandbox Sand Token just is announced the formation of something called Metaverse Sand Standards Forum. Metaverse Standards Forum. So they're already starting to develop a group where the giant tech, so they're going to control it, but you have people like, I want to get it right. Who was it? Google, Facebook, you have Meta. I listed everybody that joined. But you have the big tech companies and you have the big players. I just don't want to misstate it because it's really important. Let's see. I bet it's in this article. Yeah, Meta, Microsoft, Alibaba, Sony have announced the founding of a membership group in an organization calling itself the Metaverse Standards Forum. The forum's goal is to foster coordination and cooperation among hundreds of companies currently jockeying to create, or depending on who you ask, dominate the still nascent metaverse, an immersive collection of digital spaces, blah, blah, blah. The tech giants claim they have banded together to keep out smaller banded together to set standards towards creating an open and inclusive metaverse. It's truly the exact opposite, but you do have to have standards, so I'll give them that. But their counterparts in the world of Web3, the individuals who believe the metaverse will be built on open, permissionless blockchains, say there's a reason to be skeptical. Oh, wow. They're just like me. So this is good and bad, right? You do need standards so that we can accomplish everything that we have been talking about, where you have the ability to transfer your digital assets between all these different metaverses, all these different little programs, right? And if you don't have a set of standards to do it, then you're never going to be able to do that. So I'm okay with that. I do totally get that they're going to keep out regular people, smaller groups. It's totally going to be that, but that's where you have to build just something cooler. You can still use their standards, but you build a cooler thing and you'll be fine. And you might get squashed, but it's possible. Oh, I got spam. I was like, who's texting me this early in the morning? So the sandbox is gearing up because people are investing in it. And I think if we click on this next one, Time partners with the sandbox to build Times Square in the metaverse. So, building a virtual Times Square, the official announcement. The initiative was inspired by virtual spirit and energy of the real life Times Square neighborhood. So, Times Square will serve as an inclusive platform for timepieces holders to enjoy unique experiences, such as adding meetings and events hosted by Time Studios for educational and recreational purposes. So, I wonder how much money they dumped into it. By September 21, the iconic media company launched Timepieces, an NFT company initiative featuring the original artwork of more than 40 influential artists. Currently, the community has 4 NFT collections: Genesis, Inspiration, Long Necky Women of the Year. What?
Oh yeah, that's I think that's the young girl that made a bunch of money with her NFTs. We never did talk about her. Maybe we could next weekend.
During our
I want to
non
say she's like
NFT
a
show?
teenager. Yeah. Or yeah, she's 12.
Her name's Long Necky?
No. Well, I like all of her pictures they
Oh, they're her. That's her art. Okay, cool.
yeah.
It's interesting how she became Time Woman of the Year, or like anything that has like a crazy NFT collection. And for the last 6 months, we've been covering nothing but this, and she never came up.
Yeah, we've talked about her.
Her? I've never
Yeah.
seen these pictures.
No, we've never talked. We've talked about her before, and we were gonna talk about her on one of the Saturday shows, and we also talked about doing it for one of our Wednesday shows, but we just.
I'm sorry, Nyla, but I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I totally do. As soon as it happened, I was like,
All right, audience, I want you to go back and timestamp. Send me the timestamp and the video.
I think it was private conversations when getting ready for shows. See, he doesn't listen to me, but that's okay.
Yeah, we will. Then you need to take this initiative up. Like, come on, you need to push this a little bit harder when we talk about our content.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll go back and find it.
Announced that her NFT collection is in, and she is the Time Woman of the Year. I totally feel this is something that we need to cover because this is a big deal to me. Like her art's not necessarily for me, but I don't see it. I mean, there's a lot of the NFT stuff that's not for me, but it's cool. So I want to talk about it.
I did not know she became voted the Woman of the Year. But yeah, I feel like hasn't been that long. She became I believe a multimillionaire from her art, and it was yeah.
She got nominated as Time Woman of the Year at least back November 10th of 2021. That was when that article.
That's why I heard about it, and I just didn't realize because we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard of this, but I think Darcy wants to talk about it more, so we will.
Yep. Hey, thanks.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I didn't want to make it sound like I didn't want to talk about it. It's just fine. So they're building that. And then, oops. Trying to find. HSBC. What is this, takeover rumors? Yeah, what was, I don't know who's trying to take it over, but what I was wanting to show was HSBC, the bank, just bought, I was trying to get it right, in the sandbox. JP Morgan Chase released a summer reading list. JP Morgan, Metaverse for Society, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think there's banks starting to build Metaverse properties. So they're buying Metaverse stuff and Metaverse land and building their little buildings and stuff. It'd be kind of cool. Walk into a bank that looks like this. And do your actual banking. Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, you could do your online banking, but then you would have an option that you could get into your virtual reality headset and go do your banking there.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of cool, like that if when you went into the bank, you could choose to go into a dangerous bank, like just the same version of the bank. And there's nothing where your money is going to get stolen, but you could see like bank robberies while you're standing in a line and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool. Now, I hope that wouldn't inspire real life bank robberies, but it would be kind of cool to have like, what is that? Free Guy, a Free Guy type of world where you'd move it, you'd go in and, did you ever watch Free Guy?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, that's a good one. I thought you liked Ryan Reynolds.
I do.
Like, who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds? That'd be weird.
Like him a little overexposed.
Over too much Ryan Reynolds?
Yep.
Oh, that's I don't think he's gonna like that.
That's why I'm taking a break. I'm like, I don't want this. But I'll just take a break and then I'll go back. And it'll be like it never happened.
So, more Sandbox. Sandbox seems to be in the big news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're done there. Gucci invests $25,000 to build some NFTs in Super Rare. Woo woo. How's our application going there?
It's the same place that it was before, unfortunately. I still need to get some more pictures together. They have to be unique.
So they have, we're gonna get to see them now. Let's see if there's a link. Those are cool.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I like that rabbit's got a mask on.
So Instagram famous artists Janky and Gujimon bring their tripped out aesthetics to not NFTs. I was gonna read it, non-fungible tokens. That's pretty cool art. Cool. So more companies. I threw this in because I thought this was interesting. It's not crypto related, but it's techie. A raccoon entrepreneur named Tom is already the world's first trillionaire, beating Elon Musk. So how in the world could a raccoon entrepreneur, what do you take out of this?
I'm confused.
I know. I was too. I was like, what? Does he sell raccoons? I didn't know.
Trading places. They're like, we think a raccoon can do your job better than you, so we're gonna bring a raccoon in. He's gonna buy and sell.
So, Tom, who is a raccoon entrepreneur, already is worth 1,276 times richer than Elon. And Elon's the most.
How long has Tom been around?
Tom's been around, let's see, mid-2000s.
Wow, he's getting old.
So meet Tom.
Oh, What a cutie.
Yeah, this is Tom Nook. Tom Nook is he is he is an entrepreneur from Animal Crossing, the game. And he is an uncompromisingly hard-nosed business raccoon tycoon. Has combined assets totaling more than 245 trillion euros. I think, or pounds. What is the little L? I forget what that
I
is.
think it's pounds.
Pounds.
I'm not positive.
Yeah, because it E's euros, so yeah, that's probably pounds. Nook may be a cute-looking raccoon, but he has his fingers in many pies, with players around the world relying on him for mobile phone and banking services, and even access to Animal Crossing's Dodo Airlines. Yes, that title got me like into this article, and I was like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. So Animal Crossing players not only owe Tom Nook money for big mortgages that they have to pay back through earning bells, the game's virtual currency, they're also forced to use this company shop, which sells everything from furniture to decorations for their virtual homes. This is like the story was so awesome because I'm just picturing this like ruthless loan shark type guy, and this is what he looks like. And he just comes knocking at your door in this cute
eyes.
Yeah, he just comes knocking at your door with his little goons behind him, like these real tall goons, and he's coming to collect in this sweet little game. If you haven't played Animal Crossing, it's like the nicest game ever. But I would love to see it take such a dark turn, like him busting people's kneecaps for not paying, and you know, just doing general stuff that you would expect to happen from a loan shark when you don't pay them, or a gangster or mobster or something. And so this really was a really interesting thing because it's just funny how they relayed it to real life. So I thought it was cool.
No, that's fun.
And Animal Crossing's an interesting game. Lots of people play it.
Well, I must if he's making that kind of dough.
So we saw Solana. Solana had a big jump, right?
Yep.
A little weird because Solana has announced that they are going to launch a blockchain phone. What?
Yeah, what?
Solana Web3 phone faces long odds based on blockchain industry's track record. So on Sunday, blah, 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 they're talking about stuff and things happening. Bitcoin prices, and then they're talking about Doge getting a rally, and Matic, and where is our phone? Markets, Insights, Solana phone. Solana Labs announced Friday it's working on a smartphone. Available in 2023, the phone would come with specially crypto wallet functions and the Solana Mobile Stack software development kit for Web3 programs. Ooh, I want to program on Solana. Blockchain phones aren't new, but they've tried and haven't went anywhere. Rewind, blah blah blah. One of them is a well-known HTC Android phone that has faded into obscurity. Blah blah blah. So, so they're saying how this didn't work out for them. And it doesn't really say how Solana is going to do it any different.
Well, that's happened since 2019.
Oh, I'd say yeah.
Maybe timing wise, maybe the idea was always good, but timing wise, Solana's like, now's the time. People want to know.
So this is interesting. All prior blockchain phones failed because the market realized a specialized phone isn't needed for any of this. The functionality is available already via apps that can be loaded onto any old phone. Saga's The Saga Phones Web3 decentralized app store, Solana Pay apps, and C Vault mobile key storage are just apps that can be installed already on existing phones. This product might be a must-have for Solana fans and true believers, but the actual builders and power users of blockchain already do everything on their existing smartphones. I'm gonna make a comment that I think if you had a blockchain phone that was natively built, and I'm trying to work it through in my head because I don't know if what I'm about to say even makes sense. But if you had a blockchain phone, would it be more secure? Because part of your problem is when you're loading all kinds of apps on it, they have tons of vulnerabilities. And so, would you really want to expose your cryptocurrency to the world? You know, the ability to have it lifted. So, that's why I could see the value of having a blockchain app or a phone if you're going to start using blockchain cryptocurrencies in the real world, right? If you're going to go up to and like they said, there's apps that already do this. So we're just trying to figure out security. And so you go up and you make your purchase using whatever currency you want, kind of like what you do where you tap on, you know, with your wallet on your phone. So you do your NFC tap. Um, I don't know, because I mean, then you would have your stuff stored in PayPal. I would think that there could be an advantage to it if it does add the level of security that you would want. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't see how else you would, because yeah, why would you want to build apps that are specific to a certain phone unless you need the extra level of security? Yeah, you would be limiting your market, your user. You'd be limiting your market a lot. So I don't know if I would. I'm not 100% behind that. So the final two things. What do I got here? Yep. Final two things. VeChain 2.0. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, so here it is. That's it.
Awesome.
Was
Amazing.
as one of the most eco-friendly public blockchains, VeChain provides the perfect starting point for governments and companies embarking on the green transition. VeChain Thor is committed to helping global enterprises and governments achieve United Nations Sustainable Development Goals efficiently, quickly, and at low cost. The POA consensus mechanism is a major step for us delivering the tools, the architecture, and most importantly, the level of data security needed to ensure VeChain Thor leads mass adoption over the next decade. What just happened in the paper? Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Let's try to simplify it. No. Why is this the future? Is needed to meet the demands of future blockchain applications, increasing global demand. Enterprises demand data security, but also need high throughput and scalability. For the first time in a public blockchain, POA2 will combine the main types of blockchain consensus to achieve the holy grail of mechanisms in the real world environment. It's a lot of fancy words, but they don't really say. We turn our focus in the final phases, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, VeChain will continually. Yep. I was just trying to look at timeline. I don't know. And then we also have our Ethereum upgrade.
Oh.
2.0. And we'll soon transition away from proof of work algorithms. Instead, move towards proof of stake. And the release date is the full release of 2 is not estimated to happen until at least 2023, following the first phase in 2020. So the merge could happen in August, they're saying. So I don't know about that, but things to keep an eye on. people are still working on their projects and things are still happening. So there we go. That's it.
Amazing.
That's a lot of a recap shoved into a small amount of time.
Yes. Yeah, it was a lot.
What do we think?
I think you did an excellent job.
That wasn't what I was asking.
I know that's not what you were asking.
I was asking, what do you think about the state of the blockchain ecosystem?
I think I think it's just going to keep getting better and people are going to be adopting it more and more. I don't think the the ups and downs in the long run are going to um, make it go away.
Do you, from now that we've been talking about it for the last 8 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
and then doing shows about it pretty solid for the last 6,
Mm-hmm.
what's your opinion on the technology moving forward? Will it last? Is it really useful? Is it going to help people? Do you think companies will adopt it? What do you think the timeline on it is? So all that.
Um, I don't I don't know the timeline. I think the technology is just going to keep getting better. I think it's going to be really helpful for consumers. I mean, I think it'll be helpful for companies, but I think consumers are the ones that are really going to push the companies to use it. Um, People are caring more and more about what's in their food, what they're buying, just in general. That the kind of the carbon footprint, the um, how healthy is this for our bodies or our environment. I think people are going to want to know more and more, and the companies that adopt this or use um, the blockchain for their supplies. I think I think consumers are gonna start. I think consumers are gonna demand that the the companies that they buy from use this so that they can see what they're actually getting. Um, and I think it's just gonna keep getting bigger and adopted more. But yeah,
When
timeline
do
I
you
think
think
will
we'll
be
start seeing it bleed into our world? Our world being enterprise. I don't want to do the ERP side of it. I was trying to think of another way to describe it. But yeah, enterprise
um
software. We're regular programmers. We'll start having to work with blockchain
I don't know. I
ideas.
think it just depends on the industry that, I mean, working at a partner, you might see it a little bit sooner. Um, but I think, we've talked about it before. I think maybe some of the smaller, um, you know, we know people that have gone to work for growers or, um, for places that have created um, extensions for growers or um, wine or and things like that. I think they'll get to use this sooner.
So people more in industries that are already leaning towards blockchain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think the more we're using it in those places, people are going to want it in other places when they see the benefit, the consumers see the benefit as well.
Cool. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, not bad for being put on the spot.
Well, we haven't done that in a couple times, so.
Yeah, usually I just say I don't know, but you're you're doing a good job teaching me. Thank you.
I was just looking at the self-reporting dashboard. What? All right. Well, I guess we'll see everybody on Saturday. for another unnamed thing.
Yep.
We'll have to come up with a name this week. We can't do 2 winging it's in a row.
No, we can't. But remember, I'm gonna be out all week.
I know.
We
I
might
know.
have to do it via Discord on. Oh, I guess I could do it from my phone.
Yep, take your little drawing pad with you.
Yep. Oh, I will. It's also got my books on it. So.
Cool.
Hey.
Hey, what?
How many programmers does it take to change a light bulb?
0 or 1?
None. It's a hardware problem.
I was thinking it was gonna go somewhere binary, but yep.
Yeah. No, there was quite a few of those jokes, but I did like that one.
I've heard that one before. But I didn't remember the answer.
But you still got it wrong.
And I still got it wrong. I probably got it wrong the last time too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, that was a good joke. So.
Thank you.
All right.
You sound like you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, I've heard it before. It's a good one. I thought there was a different variation of it where they talked about like you would have multiple people tackling different. You have like your UI person, like all these different groups of people trying to figure out how to change the light bulb. Thought I've heard
Probably.
that version of it too.
I'll see if I can find it for next time.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.